Welcome to Old Roommates. Today on the show, we'll be revisiting Terms of Endearment with Debra and Shirley MacLaine. So grab a box of tissues and join us.
Hey everybody! Welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Brian.
And this is Christina. Welcome. Today we are talking about Terms of Endearment.
Yeah. And another experimental episode because we're social distancing for this podcast. We're not Zooming, so there's no live, no YouTube stream. Although this will be a YouTube episode, but it won't be us talking.
It will be just the normal YouTube episodes. But and we are projecting our voice a bit, so hopefully this will record correctly. But we're giving it a try.
We might sound like we're in a tunnel. So here we go. 1983. Terms of Endearment. Christina, then. The first time you saw this movie.
Okay, so the first time I saw this movie, it was at home. And I remember it was kind of an accidental watching. It was on HBO. And I think I was home alone. And it was just one of those like Saturday afternoons, probably like, like today or whatever, and just came on. I'm like, oh, this looks good. I got sucked right in. And I have never in my life cried as much as I did during a movie as that movie.
Wow.
I was ugly crying, hiccuping. Like, I was shocked at the
your own emotions
that this movie invoked. Yeah, it was crazy. I remember very clearly. And I remember after the movie, I'm just like wiping my face and washing my face. I'm like, what happened to me? What just happened? So it clearly had an effect on me. I thought it was great. I really liked it, but I didn't like... I remember back then really enjoying the scenes with Shirley MacLaine, and I didn't really love the Debra Winger aspect of it. Then.
Yeah.
The storyline, it was kind of boring, and I didn't really understand. Like, I don't know. It just wasn't as interesting to me. But Shirley MacLaine is such a force anyway. Like, it's not surprising. Mm-hmm. So what about you, Brian? When did you first see this? What did you think about it?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I am pretty sure I rented this movie. So when I was younger, so at this point, 83, I'm 10 or 11 years old. And I don't know why, but I always sort of gravitated to drama,
really?
To dramas.
How surprising.
And I, even though I was a little kid, I really liked the Oscars. I liked the glamour and the Hollywood and, and all that. And so I know I've said this before, like with Ordinary People and other movies where it's like I would rent that. And growing up in a divorced home, like my father was very hands off, so he didn't care what we rented. And so I think I rented this because I had won a bunch of Oscars. Mm-hmm. And so then I was probably a little older than that, right? Because it was on
well, it came out
VHS, 83,
so
but then by the time on VHS, this could even be 3 years later. I don't know.
It could have been, 84, 85.
85, yeah. So, but I would still say you're an early teen or a teenager.
Sure.
And I remember being a bit bored until the disease enters the picture, until cancer enters the picture, and then everything you're saying, like the uncomfortable emotion, the crying where you're like, well, I mean, they can't. I mean, she's not going to die. I mean, it's a movie, and
I remember the exact scene that did it for me too.
Which one?
When she was saying goodbye to the children.
Oh my God.
I mean, that one, you might as well just rip my freaking heart out and step on it right now. That was unbelievable.
We're going to talk about this because something that I do think happens even now and then and now is like something with this cancer, when that stuff starts happening, I feel like the brakes just get put on this movie in the best way. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like the characters are more authentic and they feel more real to me.
Mm-hmm.
This time around, I did struggle. We'll get to that, but like, but yeah, and I remember vividly that scene where Shirley MacLaine is walking out of the hospital with the two boys, and one of them is like, "My mom's too lazy to."
I love it. Yep.
But then the kid, like,
she runs after, she tackles him.
She smacks him, and then he runs up, and she runs after him, and then he starts hitting her, and then she's like, "Hey!"
She's like, "No."
Yeah, that feels so real.
That was
like,
so real.
Did the kid know? Like, I don't know. I don't know enough behind the scenes, but like,
my God.
that was so real to me. And I'm like,
there's some scenes that stay with you your whole life,
yeah,
and that is absolutely
that's slapping. And I have to be honest,
and he totally deserved it. He needed that.
Absolutely. And to be honest, it kind of reminded me of my grandmother, because she had the red hair and she wore one of those things over her head.
Yeah.
Anytime she was, although she wasn't outside a whole lot. But like this, and then this physical abuse. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the slapping. But yeah, but there are absolutely those scenes that stay with you. And I think this is that movie that you do bawl your eyes out. And, but let's jump into, but I was bored. I'll be honest, then, as a younger person, as much as I like the drama, I did struggle with the Debra Winger character. Because I'm nodding as you were talking, like, that's almost exactly how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, it was just something about it. It wasn't, maybe just not dynamic enough or something. I don't know what it was.
I think for me, she was almost too much. Like, she was almost annoying at times. And are we going to jump in? Can we jump into now?
Of course, yeah.
Because I'll jump back and forth a little bit, because there were things where I'm like when I was younger, I didn't even track that she and John Lithgow's character had an actual affair.
Oh, wow.
I really thought it was still hand-holding. I missed the sin. Like, she was saying, like, "Oh, we're contemplating sin. We're contemplating sin." And I was, now as an adult, I was laughing.
Well, it's quick. It's like a quick little...
They don't show
anything.
They don't show anything. Yeah.
And there's like that one little conversation, like, "Oh, well, I'm showing a house, blah 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 blah," and then there's like one little conversation, was it the conversation in the bathroom? Maybe the phone conversation.
Yes, and he's in the laundry room.
"I'm glad I don't know." There was two conversations really. One where they were talking about doing it, and then the follow-up conversation about that they did do it, but they were both very short conversations, and they weren't very clear. I mean, as an adult, you hear it and you're like, "Oh, I got it." But I could see someone younger not understanding,
not quite catching the dialogue. So this movie now, watching it now, I did take a lot. Not a lot of notes. I
took a lot of notes too.
I think I stopped when the cancer entered the picture, but like, I did write that I found Debra Winger's character grating and frantic.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down the socks, the pot, the veil.
That scene, I didn't like that.
It's very annoying, and I didn't even track how old she was.
The Ethel Merman singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole scene.
Yeah, right. And then she has the veil, and she's dancing all around, and then they're smoking pot, her and Patsy. Mm-hmm. But then the mother knocks on the door, and I'm like, how old is she? Is she 14? But then you realize that she's a bit older because she's getting married. And...
Well... The scene right before it, she's younger.
Yeah, and she's
when
sitting
Jack
like
Nicholson's character
is moving
in, and she's younger then.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's the same actress, and they don't do a great job with like the makeup.
They don't.
Like it could have been.
They put braces on her in the younger scenes. I also think that those time jumps are problematic. Mm-hmm. Like it goes from she wakes up the baby to make sure she's wakes up Debra Winger's character essentially to make sure she's breathing. The baby starts crying. It's very funny. Then it goes right from the husband dying to the husband dying, and then Debra Winger's a little girl. Then it goes to Debra Winger being sort of a teenager who's not quite feminine. Like she's sort of like she's sitting spread eagle with the mover. She doesn't even understand the movers are looking at her. Patsy's like and covers her up.
Yeah, but I question if she really like I don't know. I kind of questioned if she was aware.
Oh, really?
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Because she does say, like, she doesn't, it's almost like she doesn't know how men work. Because she then she goes into the backyard and there's that conversation with her mother. She's like, the way you treat these men. And so that she almost, like, and then Shirley MacLaine's character is really just I couldn't quite figure out if she was like a Southern belle, because like now being older, I'm like, oh, is she like Blanche Devereaux? Is she like except for the sex, like she's all very coy and leading men on, but she's not quite putting out.
Right,
but,
she's definitely not putting out.
But then you find out she's from Boston.
Oh, I didn't
At
get
the dinner scene, she says, she's like, well, that's when I grew up, when I lived in Boston. And I was like, wait, she's from Boston?
That's so funny. I didn't miss that completely.
And she's so proper and like buttoned up to the neck in a lot of scenes. And
well, it could be like that rich part of Boston, Boston proper, not where we hang out.
But I struggled with the beginning of this film.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the time jumps. I didn't like Debra Winger's character very much.
Well, it's very rushed, and I don't feel like there's a lot of real character development in the beginning where it should be. I really appreciated, of course, that first scene when she wakes up the baby is so classic and so awesome, and it's really just so telling about how this whole relationship is going to be. Mm-hmm. Just she's sleeping comfortably and she wakes her up just because she wants to feel better. Yeah. Like that's like their relationship in a nutshell, and it was like really funny in this part. And I really enjoyed the one look when she's a little girl at the at the end of the funeral, whatever they're getting, and someone says, "Take care of your mother." And then Shirley MacLaine's character turns around and said, like, kind of gives a look like, did you hear that? Take care of me. Like that. And that was the minute I was like, oh yeah, I remember why I love this movie. Mm-hmm. Because Shirley MacLaine is so incredible in it.
Yeah.
I thought she was so good with just the look. And I felt like, although, and I agree with you, at the beginning of the movie, it is a lot, and I think they wanted to kind of get to the meat of this relationship, the adult relationship that they have. So I get why they were kind of going so fast through that, but I do feel like they could have slowed down a little bit.
Well, you know what my issue was? It was like, and Shirley MacLaine, she won an Oscar for this. She's awesome in it. But, like, I think sometimes it's like, so there's a scene where she doesn't... It's actually kind of an awful scene. Like, Shirley MacLaine is telling Debra Winger she's not going to go to her wedding. She's like, if you marry this man... oh, my God. She actually says, you aren't special enough to overcome a bad marriage.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't like that dialogue. And also... when she says, if you marry this man, it will be so devastated that a devastation of epic proportions, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I wrote, she's pretty evil. We don't really, and I wrote, we sort of miss out on Aurora's attitude adjustment, and like how she got to this place of being so nasty.
Well, and it's, the thing is, she is nasty, but I don't think she thinks she's nasty. I don't think she does these things from a bad place. And this might be controversial, but I do feel like a lot. I would love to see how her parents treated her, how she grew up, because obviously there's a lot there, and how her marriage was. Like, all that stuff is so missing, and I don't know if it makes it better or worse, but I would love to see that anyway. Because I feel like, she's nasty, and she's blunt, and she, absolutely tells her like it is. And at first you kind of feel like, sometimes you feel like it's for the attention, but I also feel like it's coming from a good place. Like, she doesn't want her to marry this guy.
She doesn't want to get hurt.
She doesn't want her to do this, and she's telling her, this is why I don't want you to. It's because I really feel like you're not going to be able to survive this kind of marriage. And, and I don't want to support it. She's like very much like,
she thinks
this
that
is who I am.
She shows up to the marriage, that her daughter will misunderstand that as like, I support this marriage, and she doesn't. I still think it's so
mean,
bold and mean, and just the words, you aren't special enough.
Oh, I know.
That is some tough love.
And and they kind of circle back to that a little bit at the very end, and we don't have to talk about the end right now, but she does say something like Shirley MacLaine's character says, we're always fighting. And Debra Winger's character says, oh, that's not how I see it. It's just that you're never satisfied with me. And it's sort of like, it kind of circles back to that, where it's this like kind of a communication breakdown where she's not coming at her for any reason other than she wants the best for her.
Yeah.
And you figure the daughter, I mean, she's lived with this her whole life. And I think that she kind of understands that probably better than we do. Because she's in it. And you do see the love.
Yeah.
You see the love. It's not just like a Joan Crawford situation. She's very similar to Joan Crawford in a lot of things that she does.
Yeah. Allegedly. As we, just what's been heard.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But you see the love there. And I think that is a testament to Shirley MacLaine's acting. Because that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
To deliver a line like that, yet, and I don't know about you, but I loved that character. Like, I could see that vulnerability of it. I could see that she loves her daughter. And a lot of it is a codependency, and a lot of it is very unnatural and whatever, but there's a lot of love there. So it's not just about her controlling her or anything like that. It's because she wants the best for her. Even when she announces that she's pregnant for the third time, she's like, ah! Like, she screams. She's like so mad because she knows that this is just going to make her life worse.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously children don't make life worse, whatever, disclaimer. But she, in her eyes, she's like, she sees that she's struggling financially.
Already.
She's in a terrible marriage, and her kids are kind of out of control. And now she's pregnant, and she's like, even like, there's an abortion clinic down the street, And she's like, what? But like, that's because of love for her.
Yeah.
She wants the best for her daughter.
But it comes out wrong.
And it comes out wrong, but that's just who she is. She's unapologetic about the way she delivers this information. And somehow Debra Winger's character, what is that fucking name? It's like, come on. Like, I don't know why I don't have these names. Aurora and what was her name? Anyway, she's unapologetic, and somehow she is completely forgiving of her. She gets mad at her, but she forgives everything that she does because I think she knows somewhere there it's out of love. All right, so I just talked for I feel like a half hour. So
Emma is her name.
Okay.
So I hear everything you're saying.
Okay. You must, because I feel
but I still struggled with that sort of treatment, and I just wish maybe because the movie is so imbalanced with its timeline that I wish maybe 5 more minutes of Aurora going through some of her paces to get to that point of and also of Debra Winger getting to a point where she's not even all that shocked that her mother just said that to her, because it comes across so cold. And I think as an adult now, and I think back then as a kid, I think I was like, oh, her mom's so mean. But as an adult, I'm like, her mom, that's a kind of we disagreed there, because I didn't feel the love to that point. To your point,
so in that scene, you don't feel the love.
Yeah.
You don't. I agree with you. But I was thinking more big picture. When you think about all the instances when they're arguing or when she's doing something weird and mean, she's doing it from a point of love. She's doing it because she loves her child. And I will say, I don't think that Emma was that surprised.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
She walked out, she's like, oh, great, my mom's not going to be my way. It was almost like she expected this to happen.
Yeah.
But it's not a surprise. I'm sure it wasn't a surprise that she didn't like Flap.
Yeah.
And she was right about Flap.
100%. We'll get to Flap.
Yeah.
A quick thing with Debra Winger, because I really struggled with her performance in this, and even the character. I want to say, I loved her in Black Widow. Debra Winger. I loved her in Betrayed. Did you ever see Betrayed with Tom
No,
Berenger?
I never
really
did.
good. I liked her in Rachel Getting Married recently. She was a supporting role in that. I even liked her in Legal Eagles with Robert Redford. Okay, I really liked Debra Winger. That I will say, the first hour or so of this movie, I struggled with this character. I didn't get it. I didn't get her character, and the acting.
She's great in it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And then the scene where, and I wrote down the scene with the tie. Do you remember the scene where she is shoving the tie in Flap's face and she's grabbing the tie? And I'm like, I think this would be a lot even on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of it feels a little theatrical to me. Like a play, I mean.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my god, she's so broad. It's so broad. It's like, I wrote, she is so physical and broad, it's almost unbelievable, which is a note I've said many times in this show.
Yes.
But I don't like it when something is like, if I can't picture anyone in my life saying this line to me and saying it that way, I'm struggling to find and to believe this, because I am middle-aged. I've never seen this sort of emotion from anyone about a tie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not buying it. And I think it's a problem with the acting and maybe even a little bit with the writing, or just even, I mean...
I wonder about that too.
That seems bad with the tie. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And what's funny is, like, I totally agreed with Flap in that scene too.
Yes!
She totally did this for her mother. And maybe she just didn't see it, but I think that she did it for her mother too. But it was kind of sweet at the end when he wore it.
Yeah. I almost wonder if Debra Winger was too smart for this role, or too mature for I don't know.
I can't put my finger on it either.
And of course, I would never have this thought then, because I didn't know her filmography, and she hadn't made half the movies I just mentioned. But it's like, I just struggled.
She seems... Is it overacting? Like, there was something about it.
Is it that she's like
didn't
so...
seem very authentic.
Right.
The only ones I liked her scenes with her mother.
Mm-hmm.
But the other scenes, even with Patsy and Flap, obviously, and just alone with the kids, like, I felt like it was like an overacting, unnatural thing.
Yes, I agree. I think too. So I will say two things. So I said when the cancer enters the picture, the movie changes. And the other time that the movie changes, in my opinion, is when John Lithgow's character enters the movie. His name is it John?
Could be.
And then Garrett. No, John is his name. John Lithgow. And I wrote the bank guy. Why didn't I write his name down? And then Garrett, who is Jack Nicholson.
He was a great
They kind
addition.
of their roles get amped up at around the same time.
Well, if you think about it, and I think I wrote this down somewhere. I haven't even looked at my notes yet, but the things that are happening in their lives are very parallel, and it's the same thing. Like, they have like their first kind of dates at the same time and things like that. So,
and both knowing better.
Yes.
Like, Shirley MacLaine knows better than to date the chauvinistic cad bachelor next door. She knows better than to have an affair. But they do it anyway.
But they do it anyway. It's almost like
it actually brings them closer together.
It does.
Yeah.
Because they're sort of like, whatever, let's just kind of throwing caution to the wind and like just making a change and like stepping out of their comfort zone together. And it's a growing moment for both of them.
Yeah. I think the movie changed when they entered the picture, and I like the movie a lot more. I think it did mellow out Debra Winger's character. Maybe that's part of my issue with it. And then Jack Nicholson is just hilarious. They were both nominated for supporting actor.
Yeah, did they win?
Jack Nicholson won.
Good.
But John Lithgow was nominated.
Good
for best
He was in for like
supporting.
5 minutes.
He's so good, though.
But he is so good.
Such
He's
a character.
great at everything I see him in.
He's good. He's very good.
He is so good.
I love the line, really quick, where she says, Shirley MacLaine, impatient boys sometimes miss dessert. I wrote it down. I'm like,
oh my god.
What a great line.
The whole relationship with her and him, they are so different from each other, but they have so much chemistry together. It is so fun to watch. I love every scene with them. He's fantastic. I love that she's finally met someone who just doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, doesn't, like, he's just like, whatever. Like, I love that he talks about, like, you need to get a drink. You need a lot of drinks.
Yeah.
Because you need something that's going to kill the bug that crawled up your ass. And I love that he talks to her like this. This is probably the first person in her life that has ever talked to her like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she kind of likes it.
Well, and he's not even courting her. He's the most direct person.
Totally.
And she's totally turned on.
She's courting him more than anything.
That's right.
She's the one that basically asks him
twice. She approaches him twice.
Asks him over to his room to see her Renoir.
Very funny. The scene where she has that 50th. Is she 50? The 50th birthday party.
Oh, yeah.
And she's so, like, enough's enough, and she ends up going outside.
Yeah.
And so the behind the scenes, I did some trivia on this, where they filmed that scene where she knocks on his door and the door's open. The door's open.
Right.
And he walks up in the bathroom, his bathrobe's open. Or no, tied at the waist. So he kept, every time they did it, like, the director was like, piss her off. Like, piss Shirley MacLaine off. Like, we're not telling her we're doing this. Like, walk up to the door with a hooker on your arm. Like, so they had this, like, actress playing a hooker. They had him walk up with nothing on except a, like, bikini, whatever.
God, yeah.
They had him walk up, oh God, what? Like, in a bath towel. But all these different scenarios just to kind of, like, annoy her.
Mm-hmm.
And, or just take her by surprise each time. And that's the one they used.
Great.
But, really funny, but they are so good together.
They're so great.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both such great actors,
Mm-hmm.
and I do love that they have so much chemistry together. And I mean, the one part about their relationship, it was so good. I feel like there should have been one more scene. I don't know if it's a phone call or what, but he ends up, kind of spazzing out, feeling like they're getting too close, and breaks up with her, right? And I get that. It's very true to his character. And then he just shows up at the hospital, which was wonderful and awesome. And I loved it, and I'm so glad that he did that. And she obviously needed it, and it was just a lovely scene. I feel like there should have been some sort of something that made it feel like they were still in touch with each other. Because I'm like thinking to myself, how did he know where she was? They had no mutual friends.
She had the housekeeper. To me, my thought was he just went to the housekeeper. Like, where is she? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could buy that.
But it also makes for a great movie moment.
It was a great movie moment.
In fact,
I loved it.
I forgot about that completely.
Oh,
so I was like, oh my god. When I heard the voice, because it's at the pool, and you hear the voice, and it's such a mess. Like, the kids are in the pool, and there's like, you can almost feel like the wetness of the seats. Like, everything's just, when you're at a public pool, everything's just gross.
Yeah.
And a little, like, and you're already uncomfortable. Like, your daughter's in the hospital, and it's just a messy life. Bad moment. And you hear the voice from above, and he's like, Aurora? I actually thought it was Jeff Daniels. I thought it was Flap.
Oh, wow.
And I was like expecting to see Flap. I didn't remember, because I haven't seen this movie in a very long time. And when it's Jack Daniels, I was really like,
didn't you? I think actually, this time around, I think that's when I started crying.
Yeah.
I actually started crying because you just feel, I'm getting a little emotional right now thinking about it, but like, you just feel that weight of everything that she's carrying.
Yeah.
And now you see that he's here to help with that burden.
Yeah.
And she just like physically collapses in his arms and probably cries for the first time. Let's take a quick break. Let's take a quick break.
We're getting emotional.
Yeah. Hey there, it's Brian and Christina. We just wanted to take this break to thank you for listening to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pulp culture through a middle-aged lens. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there.
And if you have any questions, comments, or observations, shoot us an email at oldroommatespod@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. Thanks for listening, and now, back to the show. And we're back.
We're back.
talking about terms of endearment. I feel like we've been all over the place, as usual, about all different things. But, I mean, this is definitely like, almost like an actor's movie, right?
It's really funny. I was talking to a friend and I said it's like an actress's, like, yeah it's all these things. But yeah, it is really an actor's all around. And because, so Debra Winger and Shirley MacLaine were nominated for Best Actress, Lithgow and Nicholson were nominated for Best Supporting Actor. This got a lot of awards and nominations.
Yeah.
I will say the Garrett Aurora relationship, I love the phone call where Aurora calls him and he's like, she's like, oh, I was wanting to know if you wanted to come over and look at my Renoir.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we were trying to take a break. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because like just the humiliation of that phone call. It was like,
great. And she's so annoying. She's like, just answer me.
And he's like, sure, why not? And she's like, okay. And
well, didn't he say first? Didn't he kind of call her out on it too? He's like, you're calling me to take me to bed. Didn't he say something like that first? And she's like, it's in my bedroom, yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Then she says, she's like, if I don't answer, the back door is open. He's like, oh, the back door is open.
Back door's open.
I have a sneeze. I'm sorry. But let's just keep talking.
Bless you.
Thank you. I'm sure it's nothing. Do you know who was originally cast?
No, I love that you always look this stuff up.
For the Jack Nicholson role.
Interesting.
For Garrett.
No, I don't even have a guess.
It's kind of perfect.
Is it?
It was actually written with him in mind.
What's his face? The guy with the tan.
George Hamilton? No.
That's the first person
Think
I thought
more Cad. Think more like rascally.
Sam Davis Jr.?
Rascally. Think more rascally.
Dean Martin? No.
Early 80s. Arguably one of the biggest movie stars of the early 80s.
God, you put me on the spot. I don't know.
Burt.
Oh
Reynolds.
my God!
Yeah.
You know what though? I don't think I would take him seriously. Do you think he would be good in it?
Seriously? Oh my God, he's like this has-been astronaut. I think Burt Reynolds would have been perfect. I mean, Jack Nicholson's
probably
amazing.
could have done a great job.
He
But
would
when
have done.
I think of
he
him,
would
I
have done a
think
good
of like, you know, Smokey and the Bandit. And
That's right.
things like that, and that's a good. But that's what I mean. Like that character is someone that he always plays in a comedic way.
Yeah.
So I feel like I wouldn't know if I could take him seriously in that. It would almost be like some guy from the Smokey and the Bandit guy is moving next door. Like I don't know if he could have played that off, but I don't know. I don't know much about.
I feel like his aloofness would have been almost more believable.
Maybe.
Like to your point about the gazebo, right? When Jack Nicholson breaks up with her.
Yeah.
So I didn't sign up for this family stuff and all that, right? Like if you imagine Burt Reynolds in that role, you'd been like, oh, of course not, because he's this like fly by night who gives who cares? He's
would
like
be interesting
player, you know.
I love that you bring these things up, but then I get frustrated because I'm like, I want to see it.
Also behind the scenes, MacLaine and Winger, they did not get along during shooting. Did you know? You knew that, right?
I did know that.
Allegedly.
They both seem difficult.
Yes, allegedly. But again, Brooks wanted people to sort of screw around with Shirley MacLaine. Like he liked tension. He thought Aurora should have tension. So
yeah, effective.
At one point, Debra Winger allegedly farted in Shirley MacLaine's face.
Oh.
That's
rude.
That's super rude, but kind of funny. And then another scene where Jack Nicholson and Shirley MacLaine are in bed post-coital, the article says, and Debra Winger was hiding in the bottom foot of the bed.
Oh my God! Yeah. I wonder if we could notice that.
I don't know.
I would love to look.
But yeah, he liked having a set filled with tension. Thought it was good for all of the characters. Mm-hmm. Another acting note: I liked Patsy. And I looked her up, and she, acted one other time in a movie called Moving Violations, and then she quit acting.
Interesting. She wasn't one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
I liked her better now, to be honest.
Yeah.
I kind of understood her better now. I think she was a little bit uptight the first time I'd watched her. I mean, she is uptight, but I didn't appreciate that aspect of her personality as much as I do now. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's just, obviously, a businesswoman.
Yeah.
And, and it made me, that whole... I think when I watched it the first time, I was more in Emma's corner. right? And so she goes to New York, and she was such an outsider and so different, and I really felt so uncomfortable for her. And I kind of was mad at, like, Patsy for putting her in that position. You know, that kind of, I don't know. I just felt a little bit bad for her.
I didn't look at it like that. But
I liked her better now. I did like her better this time around.
Yeah.
What else? I appreciated the scene with her and Flap at the very end, like after she died. Like, that was a really nice, caring moment, and like it showed a little bit of humanity.
Okay. I'm backtracking a little bit with, I said this, I found this to be not quite proven, or like that more could have been done. I wrote just major flaw. She goes back. So when Emma and the kids go home to Aurora, I must have missed it both times. I thought they were like back. I didn't think it was just for a week.
No, I knew it wasn't.
You knew it wasn't permanent? I think I misunderstood that. I was like, okay, she's leaving Flap.
Yeah, I didn't see it as her leaving Flap, but like, so I saw it as her leaving Flap.
Yeah.
But I never felt like it was like a permanent thing. Like, she didn't pack everything up. She was just sort of like I'm leaving you, but like not really.
Okay.
You know what? Does that make sense?
Well, to me, it was like, I mean, she could have, like, you know, I don't know, had someone pick up her things later. I mean, she just wanted to
get out of there.
But I was
pissed that she went back when he called.
That's what I'm writing. It's like, why does she go? Or why does she go back? And more importantly, why does she move to Nebraska? It was like a 1-2 punch, and I'm like, and then Patsy kind of holds her to that. She's like, I don't understand, Emma. She's like, I don't know. He's cute. That's what she says.
That's cute. A terrible line. It's a terrible thing if it was written down. They never should have wrote that. But I almost understood. How do I verbalize this? I almost could understand her moving back to move than just moving back.
Because the girl...
I mean, of course, you find out later that didn't make a difference, but...
Insane.
But it's almost like I could see her as seeing it as a new beginning, not going back to the same old crap. You know, that sort of thought process, as opposed to just going back to the same old, same old. Mm-hmm. So it almost worked for me this time. Last time I was like, what the hell? Like, why is she even going there? And then, of course, now this time, I don't know, I kind of feel like a fresh beginning. And then it's almost like, you know, you think about this too, like, where is she going to do? What is she going to do? Is she going to live with her mother for the rest of her life? Like, this is in the 70s, right? This is a place in the set. Is it?
I know. I was trying to think about that too.
I feel like it was in the 70s. Yeah. I don't know why I feel that way, but like, what is she going to do? She doesn't have a job. She has no skills. She has 3 children. She would be stuck living with her mom. Mm-hmm. That is where she has to go. Mm-hmm. So she probably kind of, after being away for a week or whatever it was that she was away, a few days, she's probably realizing that she doesn't have any options. She has to go back. And then when he's like, we're moving, maybe she kind of felt like, okay, new beginning type of thing, giving it a shot or whatever. Because I could see, like, a woman in that position not having anywhere else to go.
Yeah. I still didn't like it.
No, I didn't like it either. I didn't like it either.
How great was the phone? The cordless phone. This giant phone.
Which time?
When she was with Patsy and the kids are.
Yeah, the cordless phone. That was hilarious. I think that was like my first cordless phone.
I did like the sort of the idea of these kids being everywhere too. Like, she really doesn't get a break from these kids, which is very real life. But like, would they stop playing in the pool when they know that she's on the phone with the dad?
Oh yeah,
it's really sad. It's like you just constantly sort of reminded that it's not just really her decision. Right. She has to think about her kids too, and that the kids need a father, and you know, whatever. I think that's part of the argument. It's
a very real kind of decision being made. Speaking of the kids, I wrote down some of the things that she said, and one of the funniest things is when. Wait,
we're still here.
I'm sorry, I'm like reading my notes. I'm sorry. There was one when she was like, "Can I go over here? Go back." She was talking with John, And, oh my God, I have so many things written down. I have to remember it.
Oh
She was
my
talking
God,
to John
the
for some.
grocery
She's like,
store.
"Go back to the car, honey. Go back to the car, honey.
Yeah.
Go back to the car, honey." And like she's screaming, "Go back to the car!" And it just made me laugh then and now. Makes me laugh every time I think about it because it is so real. Like this kid is just not going back. She's like, "Get back to the car, honey," and she's just like screams at the top of it. And then he turns around. He's like,
"You're a great mother.
kids.
Yeah,
You're really
kids.
good
Yeah,
with them too."
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my
John
God,
Lithgow.
so freaking funny.
You know, right before that though, I didn't write this down, but I remembered it. The kid goes running right into the parking lot, really fast, and I was like, "Oh my God, she's not a very good mother." Like she's
overwhelmed.
Yeah, but come on. I mean, she has like. And then although one thing that made me laugh, like when she's buying it's just a sign of the times, buying the groceries and she doesn't have enough money, she puts the magazine back. Do you remember how much the magazine cost?
Oh, I forget what it was.
25 cents.
25 cents
for the magazine.
Oh my God.
It was so weird. But yeah, that was such an awkward scene, and then like
and she was such a bitch, the woman at the counter. Can I have a register key? She doesn't have enough money. Oh my God. She was such a jerk.
Oh my God. But I do think those moments where Debra Winger, I think, really shined in this when she had to be a little pulled back and a little more vulnerable. She's not in control.
Yeah,
so I think anytime her character's not in control, like that scene, she's great. She's great in the scene where she is chasing the girlfriend and she's like, "Don't make me run, I have a toddler."
Yeah. That was good.
That was great too. And then she's in the bushes. Although that felt very.
That was a little weird.
That felt very TV sitcom to me.
Yeah.
She's hiding in the bushes, and at the right moment, she's like, "Did she say fucking asshole? What did she say?"
Something like an asshole or something.
Yeah, at just the right time.
Yeah.
That felt very. That
and it was
very
weird, like it was
TV
almost
show.
like slapsticky too, with her hiding in the bushes.
Yes.
Like that seems.
It's a little too.
Like she should have just been walking by.
Yeah.
And like stopped and like said something, but
that is just a weird choice because it felt like a sitcom to me. What else? I remembered. So being that young, I remember like the first time I said this, I remembered Shirley MacLaine in that conversation with Jack Nicholson in the gazebo. I believe when he's like, "Listen, Aurora, blah blah blah," and she's like, "Blah blah blah."
Oh God!
I was like, "Ooh, she's a killer."
Yeah.
Like, and then he's like, "I feel something." He says, "I feel something." And she says, "I feel humiliated."
Yeah, she's so good.
She's
like,
so good.
I mean. And I feel like a lot of that is probably Shirley MacLaine. Like,
well, she's not too dissimilar from Postcards from the Edge.
Yeah.
That slightly over the top, and Postcards from the Edge is one of my favorite movies of all time. But yeah, she's just so good.
She's so good in this. I'm so glad she got the Oscar.
There are
she
won it,
right?
She did win the Oscar, yeah. A couple of scenes. Oh, but so she thanked Debra Winger, and she said the turbulent brilliance of Debra Winger. And I believe that's when it all came out that they didn't like each other. But what was I going to say about that? Oh, the scene. So then the scene where Emma dies. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert. Shirley MacLaine, I think, has two lines that she doesn't finish. She says, "I thought it would be a relief when," and she just breaks down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like most movies of that time or this time, they would have the full line written out. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it just feels so real. It just breaks down. She can't even say the line, and it's she can't finish her sentence. I should say.
And she breaks down.
And it's so
sad. I was already full-fledged
sad.
bawling.
And then the
iconic. Anyway. I never recover after I start crying in that movie.
Yeah,
I never recover.
It's a
continued stream of tears.
Well, once it gets sad, it stays sad,
and
then it's just like it's like levels of crying. You're crying about the kids. You're crying when and then what's his face comes back. Garrett comes back. You're crying.
Even the conversation with Flap and what to do with the kids. And, which was, I mean, can you imagine? Like that's something that would not happen today. That would not.
Oh, where he's just like, I probably would be good.
A discussion. It wouldn't even be discussion. Yeah. He would get the kids. There wouldn't even be like, who's going to get the kids?
Yeah, but I think it speaks to their maturity.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like for him to say, well, she says, "I know that I don't want her raising my kids." That's really the argument. She doesn't want the girlfriend involved in the kid's life.
And that's a little selfish.
Really?
Yeah. You don't know who that woman is. And he's their father.
But he's
a shitty husband. I don't know. He's probably not a great father either.
Yeah.
But he's their father nonetheless. Like, you're taking the father away from their children.
I think at that point, it's like if it's the mother's dying wish.
No, of course it has to happen that way.
Yeah.
But if the only reason, so putting it in my position, right? Yeah. If Matt cheated on me or whatever, and I was dying, I wouldn't not let him take her because I didn't want his lover to raise Emily. Like, I mean, at least like give her the benefit of the doubt. It's not like she was a stripper. She's obviously like an educated woman. Like,
and if she was a stripper, Christine?
Absolutely not. I'd have you raise her. God help us all.
Oh my God.
But I will say that one of my biggest critiques of the movie, and there aren't many, was when she's dying at the death scene. Yeah. She's in bed, and Flap and Aurora's there, and they make eye contact, and she waves goodbye. I don't think that I almost chuckled. It's like, what? You're dying. You're probably not going to have the strength, first of all, to move your hand up to wave. And I think it would have been way more effective if she didn't. Mm-hmm. If they just looked at each other. I mean, they could have pulled it off. The two of them could have pulled it off with just one final look. Mm-hmm. And then she closes her eyes.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the wave was necessary.
The wave was stupid.
But I didn't connect it to her waving goodbye. I think she was almost waving like, "Can you believe the shit?" Like, "Hi, I see you." Like,
but she goes like this. She like closes her hands onto, and then she puts it in her mouth, which was weird. Like her thumb goes into her mouth.
God, I don't remember that vividly.
Yeah, it was weird.
Oh, weird.
Anyway, whatever it was, I don't think that she'd have done it. What else? Do we have anything else? I mean, there's so many notes here. We could go on for quite a while. We might need to take another break, honestly. I know we don't usually take 2 breaks, but I need to compose myself and...
I did like Patsy's friendship, and I think that is actually truly on my notes.
Yeah. Well, maybe we don't need... Well...
I have my question, and that's that. But I will say this. I mean, I feel like I didn't really care for the first...
Oh, Sam. His name was Sam.
Who's Sam?
John Lithgow.
Oh.
Because I wrote, so sorry to see Sam go.
Yeah. He was great. I mean, the first half of the movie I wasn't in love with. The second half I loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked most of it, but yeah, I totally, I agree with what you're saying. So, a couple of little things that I liked. There was a quote. Oh, she said, she was talking to the kid. She's like, "Stand up and follow me and don't make me hit you on the street." Like that a lot. Wait over by the car, honey. That was, it's right there. I don't know why I couldn't find it before. Then, and then when they were breaking up, Aurora says, "You don't even know how much you're going to miss me," which I really liked. Mm-hmm. And then, what was the other one? And then, of course, the "give my daughter a shot" scene was...
That's what I was going to say earlier, yeah. Like that iconic, she's walking all around. I did think I didn't remember it escalating that fast. I thought that was a longer scene.
I felt like it was longer, too.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
But it's still, I mean, so...
maybe because we knew what was coming.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that really happened fast. But, I mean, it's just so good.
But one of my favorite things was when... they were talking to so she's already in the hospital, and I think the doctor already gave Patsy and Aurora the bad news. And the doctor was like, just make it normal, like da-da-da-da. And they walk into the room smiling, mm-hmm. the hospital room, and immediately Emma goes, "What's wrong now?" Because Aurora's all happy, like walking in.
But how about that cold, actually, now that you're saying that cold scene with the doctor, when he's like, you didn't respond. Your body's not responding the way we had hoped. Yeah. So there are some experimental measures, but I think now's the time to basically say goodbye to your whole family.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought... I
And
thought
then
it
he
was
just stands
cold.
there.
I thought it was cold, but I
real.
think it's pretty real.
Yeah.
Like, doctors
He's not going to
aren't...
hug her.
They
Yeah.
don't typically have a good bedside manner.
Yeah.
You know, the nurse would be better at delivering news like that. And
Yeah.
maybe they're better at it now, but I felt that was like a pretty realistic
And he's just
deliverance.
standing there while she's like bawling in the bed, and she can't catch her breath, and he's just like standing there.
I know.
Awful.
I know.
Can't imagine that.
What else? I guess that's all I really have. I don't have a question. Do you have a question?
I do.
Do you have an...
We could just both answer this one.
That's true.
Unless we
could do
don't
that.
take another break. I don't know.
We don't really need an FMK. Oh!
That's what I have.
Oh!
That's my question.
Oops. Okay, yeah, do that then.
And I'm actually being very nice to you, Christina.
That's fine. Okay, good.
Much nicer than you've been to me
All
with
right,
these
we'll
questions.
just do the one. It'll be like one of those
A
things where
mutual.
it's just one
Oh, but I didn't even pick what I think you're going to say. Oh, let me read it first, and then we both do a pick for each other. Right? Okay. I think it's, yeah, so like a match game thing. FMK being very nice. Garrett, Jack Nicholson. Flap, Jeff Daniels. Sam, John Lithgow.
That is so nice.
I think so.
I already have my answer. Oh, wait, am I answering for me?
You're answering how you think I'm going to answer. I'm answering how I think you're going to answer.
Probably going to be the same, no?
Let's see. I don't know. Do, do, do. Do, do,
We're still here,
do,
folks.
do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Oh my god, this is controversial, I think.
Okay.
I'm surprised at myself. But I have to be in my
So-
my heart of hearts.
I'm guessing what you...
Oh my god, I just did it wrong.
Oh,
Oh no, that's right. No, that's right. Wait. I have to write down me, and then I'm writing you. Sorry. I know what you're gonna say. Okay. Yeah, I think this is right.
all right, so
Okay, here we go.
you're saying... Okay.
Here's what I'm saying for you. This is how I think you're answering this question.
Okay.
For Christina.
Okay.
Christina would marry Garrett, F Flap, kill Sam.
Oh my god, it is like 100% wrong.
Oh, okay.
You think I would marry Flap? What'd you say?
No, marry
F-Flap?
Garrett. F Flap.
Ugh. I would never F Flap.
Okay.
Flap is dead.
You're killing Flap.
He not only is he a shitty husband, but he looks like a really shitty lay too.
Oh, wow.
God, of course, yeah, no.
Oh my god, we didn't talk about that.
What?
Is this PG, this movie?
I think it's PG-13, maybe.
No, PG-13 didn't exist.
Oh, maybe an R. No, I think it's R. It's R.
Oh, it's R? Okay, good. Because she says...
Here comes the bride.
But then, she's pregnant laying down, and he says something, and she's like, oh my god, I'm wet. She's like, she's like, I'm wet right now. I was like, ew.
Yeah,
I'm like, please
yeah.
tell me her water broke.
Oh my god,
Like,
that's
it's
so
gross. Anyway.
I thought it was. Yeah, I remember that actually line when not that one, but when he's going down on her
Oh my god.
on our wedding day,
Yeah.
our wedding night. And she's like, "Here comes the bride."
Things I definitely missed when I was 14.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Or
So
12.
no, that is 100% wrong. I would marry Sam.
By the way, it's PG. I just looked it up. Terms of Endearment is PG.
Oh my God.
How about he's grabbing her breast in the water?
Oh my god, that was so funny.
So
We didn't talk
funny,
about
I
that
know.
scene.
All right, sorry.
Oh my god, there's so much we
All right,
didn't
so
talk
wait,
about.
so
This
you
could
would
have been
kill.
like a 2-hour
This
episode.
could have been. So you would kill Flap.
I would kill Flap. I would F Garrett. Because God, he's been everywhere. He
and
probably
you
knows
would
exactly what
marry
he's doing.
Sam.
And I would marry Sam. Sam's like the nicest guy ever. He's like responsible and sweet and
100% wrong. I was
no,
totally wrong.
You were 100% wrong.
What did you think about me? What did you think I would say?
I thought that you would kill Garrett.
Okay.
F Flap.
You're exactly
Marries.
right. 100% right.
Wow!
Yeah.
Look at me. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
like,
I don't. Yeah.
Garrett's not your style.
Garrett's not my style at all. Really kind of skeevy
Yeah.
to me, and like just a little messy, a little sloppy.
Yeah. See,
Um,
I like that messy, sloppy
But
stuff.
I like Sam. I think Sam is such a nice guy. You would marry Sam also, actually.
Yeah, Sam is like a nice guy. Like,
Yeah.
he's nice husband material.
And Flap, I mean, he must have been doing something right because she kept going back to him.
Yeah, that was her flaw, though, not anything to do with him being great. He's probably the only man she ever met.
Oh, maybe.
Oh my god, I wish we had more time to talk about more of this movie. Because
I think little parts are coming back, but I think that's what makes it such a memorable film.
Yes.
Is like these really nice moments.
So did you, I didn't ask you, did you like it better this time around? Worse?
I kind of feel the same way. It's not weird. Even though I was a teenager, really a preteen when I saw this.
Yeah.
But like, truly, I feel the same way. I even knowing more now, I still think that first hour is really messy and not very tight, or even from the Debra Winger role, very well acted. But then once Sam and Garrett into the picture, it adds a layer, I loved it. And once that happens, I'm just like, I buy into the whole thing. I think it's
probably not that far into the movie either when you think about it.
I don't know. I'm telling you this. I paused it at one point and I was like, "Oh my god, how long?" And it felt long. It was a little over 2 hours, and it's like it was 2 hours and 15 minutes or something. But I paused it and I thought I would have guessed it would have been on for an hour and 10 minutes. It was 44 minutes. I was like, "Oh my god, when is this? When is she going to get sick?
When is this going to happen? Can we kill this woman already?"
So I think in that regard, I liked it about the same, or maybe possibly a little less.
Yeah,
but I'm telling you, that second hour, that final hour, it's a masterpiece of acting and storytelling and everything else.
And I think I liked it more this time, and not just slightly more. And I think it's because I paid more attention to the relationships between the Debra Winger character and like with her and Flap and her and Patsy. Like I appreciated, I didn't appreciate their relationship, but I paid more attention to it. So it kind of gave me a little bit more to work with a little bit. And I think not that I ever had anything close to her life, but as a mom, I guess I could kind of relate a little bit on that level of being a parent.
I'm so sorry because you said Patsy. When Patsy spits with the ice cube or the food out of her mouth, when she's like, because that woman goes up to
oh
Emma,
my
she's
god!
Like, so Patsy tells me you have cancer.
And that was actually a funny scene.
That was very funny. And even that scene at the Brooklyn Bridge when she's like, Patsy, one of the women there told me she had an abortion in the first 2 minutes of meeting her. Like, this movie felt very real about that scene, too. There's a lot of good stuff in this.
There is a lot of good stuff. And then there's a couple of weird things in there, but I think mostly some really good, thought-out, like, real dialogue.
Yep.
So I guess that's it for this episode of Old Roommates.
Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to Old Roommates on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And give us a rating or review while you're there. And if you have an idea for the show, a suggestion, comment, email us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Old Roommates. This is Christina.
And this is Brian.
Thanks again for listening. Till next time.